don't want to be completed by someone. I just want to collaborate. I want to exist together.
Right.
I want to, if we're building a table, like, let's share our ideas and let's start doing it together. And
That's a great freaking analogy. Building the table. I freaking love that. Because you gotta work together. It's like you have to work together. You ever put anything together in IKEA?
Oh yeah, absolutely. My whole house. Yeah.
Man, let me tell you something. That will make or break a relationship when you're putting something together. Like you will see. Like if you're dating somebody, go to IKEA and put something together. You know what I'm saying? You can see like whether y'all could work together. I believe that's true. Like working with your hands, like absolutely, with somebody, it bonds. But let's get to the other question. Okay, this was my question. Because I debate this a lot with Sadia Khan, psychology. Mm-hmm. And she has this big old stick about age gap. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you something. When it comes to age gap, what do you think are you for it, against it? If you're for it, what's an appropriate age? If you're against it, what's not the appropriate age gap? Like, is it 10 years cool? Is 15 years cool? Is 20 years cool? Is 20 and beyond cool?
So, I have a story about the age gap. So when I was 22, I was dating someone who was 42. And for me, I've always been this old soul, right? And I've always kind of connected with people who are older. Again, we can connect because I don't know why. It's just so much wisdom, and I love wisdom, right? Even if it's...
A lot of people love me, so it's contagious.
It's just there's something different about it, right? But again, so when we were dating, I could feel a little bit of different generations, and it's a lot of negativity that was coming from the men, and it was the worst relationship ever. The men had 4 other girlfriends. I was the last one. We're long distance. It was just bad.
Sounds like he was living a midlife crisis.
Oh, he was going through it. He was an actual definition of a psychopath. So when I broke up with him, I got into therapy. I had a friend who paid for it. It was like 16 hours of very intense therapy because I just didn't want to hate men. Mm-hmm. And I was in that place where I was like, I literally cannot stand men. But then now I think what it is for me, I do think it's different generations. You are definitely on different life paths and you're in different places in life, because when you're getting older, and some people are very wise and they have purpose, they have intention. A lot of young people, especially in their 20s, they're still figuring things out. I didn't know most of the things that I know now, and I always thought that I was so old and I'm so mature and I have so much wisdom, and now I'm like, no, I have yet so much to learn. This is the first year when I'm like, oh my God, I'm seeing I'm seeing the sunrise, and I'm just getting so happy seeing those things. So it's very different, right? But I think what it is to me, I don't think it's going to work long term, because also you have to think about like logical stuff like kids. If I'm 29 and like the man is 50 years old and we're having kids, then the kid doesn't have that much time to see the dad, right?
Yeah, 18 years. You'll be 60.
18 years, but then alive. Right, but still it's like, it'd be that point where, my dad is no longer here and my mom was here, but again, I think it works because for some people it works because it depends on your level of development and growth. Sometimes I know some couples that have a very large age gap and they're the perfect fit for each other, because a lot of people, some people, not a lot, but some people are very young in their soul when they're in their 50s and 60s.
True. I think especially, I prefer younger. And I'm not talking about anything below 29 years old.
Right.
No. Because I feel like 29-year-old, 28-year-old, around that sweet spot area, she's looking for what I'm looking for. Getting married, getting out the game. Mm-hmm. Like that, all that stuff that she did in her 20s was like, she's done with it, whatever. There is a creepiness which get blurred into men like me that prefer dating younger, is that creepiness. Like the dude that's going through his midlife crisis, the dude that wants to control, the dude that wants the young and dumb, he wants the sex thing. That does play out. He's gonna find a woman that has daddy issues. And sport, and there's those girls that want them daddies to freaking
Pay for
You
their
know,
life.
yeah.
I think that's what I was. I had daddy issues. I didn't speak to my dad. I mean, I don't really have a relationship with my dad. So, and that was something that I was looking for, that guidance in that man. And like recently, I met someone who is a lot older than me, and you know, it like, to me, it just felt awkward because I just, something was very, like, the energy was not there. Like, the energy was very dark and very, like, it was sad. It was really sad. And so, but the person is such an incredible human being, is like a good man. A good man is very supportive, and but to me it felt like he was like trying to play the role of my dad, and I'm like, I don't want that. I'm not looking for my dad. I have a dad. He's alive and well. It just, if we don't have a relationship, we don't have a relationship.
Yeah, I don't feel like, if I gotta raise you, you can forget it. You can forget it. I'm not trying to raise a single freaking soul. Like my ex-girlfriend, she was 30. Well, no, she was, oh, she's 30 now. She just turned 30. So it's around like your age. So, like, she was intelligent. She was just like an ideal person. Was it that her age that attracted to me? No, it was like her spirit, like where I saw her and us going. I think when it comes to the age gap, I think that's very important. Like, are you guys on the same chemistry, the same latitude? Like, do you even like the same things? That's very important to me.
Oh yeah. No. Do you like same things? Do you? It also, I think what's important is that, do your lifestyles match? Because again, for example, like if you're trying to date someone who is an older businessman and he is, you know, someone who's a really high exec, this man is traveling 80% of his time. He does not have time for you. He might have his credit card for you, but he doesn't have his, what's important is the time, is the actual, that relationship, that foundation.
Right.
And that's, again, a lot of times it doesn't work. Like, I've dated, when I was a lot younger, when I was very, very young, I've had some relationships with men who just wanted to give me money. And it was,
I wish I had that.
it was very, I mean, you know, it got to the point where I literally sat there and I was like, I can't do this. This is horrible. This is not, because what happened in my mind was that now I equal men to money bag. Now I equal men to just, it's always like, give me something, give me something, give me something. But then it went to the opposite. It got to the point where I am strong and independent. I don't want nothing. And now I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I do like for a guy to pay for my dinner. Because when you're a single woman and you have all these bills piled up, it's like, man, I'm tired. Like, why do I have to feel in this masculine energy all the time? I just want to sit down and do nothing. And I just want to be fed. Like, sometimes I would text someone and be like, feed me, feed me. Not that I'm incapable of feeding myself, but it's just because I just want to feel like someone is taking care of me, right? But the age gap, man, it's a really tough one because I don't have experience, like in my personal life, I think the biggest age gap that I know is 6 years, and it's a woman who's 6 years older than a man. But they have an amazing marriage and they really work on themselves. And I actually know someone that has a 20-year age gap and the woman is 20 years older, not a man.
Really?
Yes. And I don't really know what's the actual life story there, but it's, the man seems to be very happy and he seems to be very content, and he was just very much, I love the wisdom in her. So that was another experience. But in my family, it's always like 2 to 3 year age gap, and it's a man older. And then my grandma is a year older than my grandpa, but they're like, you know, a few months apart. Yeah. And it's...
But why is it that there's that double standard? Like a woman could be with a guy 20 years older, but not a guy be with a woman that's 20 years younger.
I don't think it's a double standard.
It is a double standard. A man gets way more hate. If I dated you...
Yeah, because...
Hold on, tell me. If I dated you, you're 29, everybody said, what are you doing with that little girl?
Little girl.
Little girl. Little girl. That you are 29, little girl.
But to me, a girl who's dating someone who's that much older, it's clearly she's trying to compromise on something, right? So to me, it's...
What? Who?
if a girl is dating someone who's a lot older, she's definitely trying to compromise on
older?
something. Like 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah. I think, so, okay, let me tell you this.
Yeah, 20 years.
20 years is a lot, right? 10-year age gap, I think, is great.
Time out. What if she's 40 and he's 60?
She's still got, like...
Come on now, 40 and 60?
40 is when your life starts!
So, yeah, I get that. But it also ends, too, because, like, look.
No, 40 and 60, they actually can look cute together.
Exactly. So, 20-year difference, it depends. It varies. 30 and 50.
30 and 50.
That's George Clooney and his current wife.
No, I think 30. I think when you're in your 20s, then that's a little too much. But 30, it's kind of when you can.
Exactly. So the all difference. Now, a 20-year-old and a 40-year-old.
No,
that's a problem.
Don't do that.
That's a freaking problem.
That's something is definitely going on there.
That is a problem. There's a science to it. For a man, half your age plus 7 years. That's the ideal. Half his age plus 7 years. So
okay, so it's 13-year difference.
It depends. Like for example,
40, yeah.
Yeah, if he's 40, that'd be 27. Mm-hmm. So you'd be 29. You'd be 29. You would be like maybe a 43-ish around there.
But also, see, the thing is that men mature a little later than women.
Very.
And it makes sense because I think everyone should go and explore and have fun and date and do dumb things and then do smart things. And, you know, I don't believe in people who are just like, oh, I'm a saint my entire life. That's, at the same time, those people at some point are going to say, oh my God, I haven't lived.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with experiencing and trying different things. And I think you should try to date someone younger and older and see what works for you because, again, you need to figure out what is for you.
I think as long as alignment is there.
Yeah.
Like, you're not raising her. She's not with him because she's looking for somebody a dad or a lifelong paycheck, you know, take his Social Security and his Medicaid and all that stuff and wait till he dies. Huh?
That's not a paycheck. If he's like 95 and he's got $1 billion in his bank account, I might consider it.
Yeah, but you know, like she could dupe him out of his, you know what I'm saying, his retirement money at 66. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You know,
yeah.
Or his investments and all that stuff. I mean, like I see that part of it, that ugly side of it too. It's like I'm on the gram. I look at these girls like with older, richer dudes. I'm like, dude, bro, like.
And they're so not attractive. Those guys, I'm like, how are you even? I get it, money's money, but like.
True story. I had an ex, and she married rich, and she still slid in my DM. Still was sliding in my DM. I'm like, damn, all that money he got, and she's still sliding in my DMs.
I actually know. So when I was growing up in Russia, my mom had a hairstylist who is just such a beautiful woman. So she married someone who was 23 years older than her, very wealthy man. I kid you not, she was cheating on her husband with her high school sweetheart who was dead broke.
Yep.
When I tell you,
Yep.
living with his mom.
I did a video on this.
She literally was sneaking into the hotels and like she was this close breaking up with her husband to date. And the amount of women that I know back in Russia who were amongst my mom's friends, my mom, same thing. My mom actually cheated on my dad to be with her high school sweetheart. Also,
You want to keep that in the video?
I don't care. That's fine. Yeah.
All right, cool.
But it's, you know, for me, it was a really cool lesson because that's when you accept, right? You can say that your mom is bad and your mom is this and that, but like the amount of communication that my mom had with me and my brother during that whole process of how she never hid anything from us. She literally sat us down and said, this is what's going on. And we could see, we're not dumb. We could see that my mom and my dad were not even like, they